Okay, so to solve this puzzle, you need to know Roman numerals, and it's kind of tricky, but basically MCM is the first part, so like 19, and so like this is saying 1925, because it's like MCN, which is 19, and then two x's, x is 10, so 10 plus 10 is 20, and then the v is 5. So 1925 would go around here. MCM LXX. L is 50, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure L is 50. So 1950, 67, 1970. That probably goes there. This is 1951, so that goes somewhere around there. 1939, because the I before the X means 1 minus 10, which is 9. So 1939 would go somewhere around here. 1932. 1925. Wait, I already did that one. So all of these probably move up. 1911. Yeah, 1911. So that one goes here. This is just 19. So 1900. 1941, because L is 50, and then 10 minus 50 is 40. So 1941. 1908, because it's like 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1908, 1915, 08. Okay, and then 1904. This one's tricky because C is 100, I think. So 1997? Yeah. Oh wait, that was... Basically, if they have L in it, then it's probably over here. Like this is 1960. Actually, this is 1945. Okay, I think this one's done. Because it's 1925, 1932, 1939, and then 1941, 1945. This is 1960. This is 1969. This is 1951. So 1951, 1960, 1969, 1970, and 1997. So these two are done. This one is very close to being done. 1904, 1908, 1911, 19... And this is 1914, so it goes here. This goes here. And then we just switch those two, I think. Okay, wait, so 1900, 1904, 1908, 1910, 1911. And this is 1913, 14, 15, 1919.
Now that they're all sorted, I can do some reading.
Okay, so Nancy's gonna read 2 or 3 of these. First one is 1925. Is a gangster about to become Moon Lake's newest resident? So this is just a newspaper article talking about Mickey Malone moving to Moon Lake. He's building a house on the north shore of Moon Lake. Waldo Matthias, the agent spearheading the Department of Justice investigation of Malone's activities, said, "If he is, I suggest he live it up while he can, because the place we're going to be sending him to ain't on no beach, and he's going to be there for a real long time." So that's important, is Waldo Matthias is the name of the investigator. who was looking into Mickey Malone. Okay, and then we can look at 1941? Yeah. So, about the war, Philadelphia mobster dies in Leavenworth. Michael Mickey Malone died yesterday of liver failure in the federal penitentiary at Leavenworth, Kansas at the age of 52. Blah, blah, blah. He was arrested in 1932 for tax evasion. So this is good to know. That's the date he was pinched, but it's only part of the date because we need the year, or we need the month and day too, not just the year. So I'll have to keep looking for that. Oh wait, here it is. This is where it'll have the month in, because this is 1932. Yeah, January 29th, 1932, gangster nabbed at Moon Lake residence. Okay, so now we know the code for the safe is going to be 012932, I think. Yeah, 012932. He was arrested. Careful to keep Malone's attack dogs at bay. Agents from the Internal Revenue Service and the Department of Justice raided the lakefront home at dawn, catching Malone and his henchmen completely by surprise. He was driven directly to Philadelphia, where he was jailed on charges of tax evasion and conspiracy to violate prohibition laws. The police have been wise to Malone's criminal activities for years. This time, federal agents intend to rely on ledgers and tax returns to prove their case. Since 1927, when it was determined that even income gained through illegal means is taxable, authorities have been eager to use this ruling to make thugs like Malone pay for their crimes. Mickey Malone's been making us look like fools for a long time, declared Bureau of Investigation agent Walter Matthias. But today, the good guys finally got the last laugh. Malone loudly and repeatedly proclaimed that he'd done nothing wrong as he was led to jail. However, his protestations of innocence ended abruptly when, apparently not wishing to be photographed in his pajamas, Malone took a swing at a press photographer. He was quickly subdued. Okay, so that's good. We have the date he was pinched. And then we can look at this 1997 folder. Emily's Moon Lake Antiques. Dragging ban is a drag. So this is an article talking about how Emily's upset because she can't drag the beach. Which just blows my mind that those people would drop back then and never bother going back for it. Because his guests would travel to and from the house by boat, personal items were lost overboard with great frequency. Miss Griffin estimates that she's made close to $20,000 selling her finds to antique hunters and tourists, but last week her windfall came to an end. The county in which Moon Lake is located passed an ordinance making the recovery of objects from the lake bed illegal. When you disturb fine sand, it clouds the water, sometimes for days, posing a threat to aquatic plants and fish that otherwise thrive there. Park Ranger Jeff Akers, who oversees the state park surrounding the lake, initiated the ban. The eco-balance of Moon Lake is simply too delicate to ignore, he contends, but Miss Griffin begs to differ. The whole thing's just plumb ridiculous. You know what all that stuff down there is doing right now? It's rusting, rotting away, and polluting the water. She can still sell stuff that washes up on shore. Okay. Alright, so that's an interesting article. I don't know if we can ask anyone about that, but we can try.
You're back.
When and why was Malone arrested?
I'm sorry, Ms. Drew. As usual, I'm a little pressed for time. If you have more questions, why don't you sit down at the computer and peruse the Moon Lake database of fascinating factoids that I've put together?
What happened to Akers and the rest of Malone's gang after he went to prison?
Fortunately for Moon Lake, they all left and went their separate ways.
I finished putting all those envelopes in order.
Excellent. Thank you, Miss Drew. And to show my gratitude, I've got something for you.
Chances are it isn't a paycheck.
No, it's an honorary Junior Park Ranger pin. I keep them on hand so I can give them out to children whom I see demonstrating respect for park rules and regulations. A little bit of positive reinforcement. Unfortunately, I don't get to give them out that often.
Oh, gee, thanks, Ranger Akers. Thanks for all your help.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, let's talk to Emily.
Nice Junior Park Ranger pen. You must really be on Acres' good side.
Any word from Tucker, what's his name? He hasn't been by to move that tree yet.
I'll give him another call. But like I said, the man marches to the beat of another drummer. A very slow drummer.
I found an old newspaper in Sally's house that contained an article on Mickey Malone. It really got my curiosity going. What else can you tell me about him?
Person you should talk to is Jeff Acres. He's got this historical museum thing going out at that ranger station of his.
To make a long story short, I need some camouflage gear.
Got some right over here. One size fits all. But I'm running kind of low on bait. So if you go out and get me, say a dozen little critters, I'll give you the camos.
You got a deal. So, what kind of bait do you need?
Worms, spiders, beetles, grubs. Anything that wriggles on its belly'll do. Just look under stuff. Rocks, logs, dead leaves. Should be able to find 12 in no time.
Hunting for critters isn't illegal, is it?
Things ain't quite that bad around here. Least not yet. Now, if Jeff Acres' daddy was still around, you might get arrested for cruelty to animals or some such nonsense. Joe Acres used to be the deputy sheriff. Real critter lover, that one was.
Joe Acres is Jeff's father?
That's right.
Guess I'll see you later.
I guess you will.
So, kind of going out of order, but that is another clue to help with the Acre family tree. And we'll find more out about that in just a minute. I think maybe we can get in here now. Yeah. So now that we've been down here, it opens up easily. Okay, so now we know the code. And it's gonna be right. Okay, yeah, so you press this to do the first number, which is 0. 1, 2, 9, 3, 2. And there are mice. So Nancy
I
will
bet
want
those were
us
deer mice.
to use this to pick up the notebook. Okay, so this journal is the property of William Acres, 1933 to 1942.
Speakeasy.
April 29th, 1933. Today Mickey went to prison, but when they were walking him to the paddy wagon, he told me to take care of his dogs, and when the time came to do their tombstones like he told me, then he whispered to me to look under the Victoriola in the speakeasy at Moon Lake. He said I'd find a map to the gold he stole 2 years ago. Then they shoved him into the wagon, and that was that. Poor Mickey, how's a guy who never spent one night in jail supposed to spend 8 years in prison? He'll never make it. I think he wants me to have the gold because deep down he knows he's never coming home. Anyway, I looked under the Victoriola and found the map. The problem is there's nothing on it except a bunch of lines and the words, "The dogs will lead the way." There's no X marking the spot or directions or nothing, but I need money bad. My wife and baby haven't had anything decent to eat in months. So I'm gonna pack them up and move to Moon Lake permanently so I can spend all my time looking for the gold. Mickey never told me outright that he was the guy who pulled off the hole-in-the-floor gold heist. He always said the less I knew, the healthier I'd stay. But according to the papers, a bunch of gold was stolen off a moving train right under the noses of about a dozen Pinkertons. Mickey must have greased somebody's palm real good and got him to cut a hole in the floor of the boxcar that the gold was going to be shipped in. After the gold was loaded, one of his boys crawled under the train and pulled himself into the boxcar. Then when the train was moving, he dropped the gold down the hole onto the tracks. Mickey's boys picked it up and got away clean. Nobody ever suspected Mickey was behind it. So what I'm looking for is 20 gold bars. The papers said altogether they weighed around 600 pounds. The question is, did Mickey hide them in one place, or did he spread them around? He must have buried them, but where? I just thought of something. Maybe Mickey trained his dogs to go to the gold if you say the right word. I'm going to try saying gold to them tomorrow and see what happens. July 14th. I've said every word I can think of to all the dogs, but they haven't led me anywhere except around in circles. I spent the last month following them around, first Xander, then Vitus, then Lucy. I don't have to follow Iggy because all he does is sleep on the porch. So it looks like I'm going to have to start digging. I'll dig under the porch first, seeing as that's where Iggy always is. October. A month ago, I started working as a handyman over in Lewistown to make ends meet, so even though I stop by Mickey's every day to feed the dogs, I can only look for the gold at night. I dug all around under the porch, but didn't find nothing. I marked the porch on the map with a big eye.
Joe Akers? Emily said Jeff Akers' father was named Joe. Maybe Jeff is related to William Akers after all.
So I marked that spot on the map with a big eye for Iggy because that's the place he always leads me to. I was so busy digging last Tuesday night that I almost wasn't there when my son was born. We're calling him Joe. His big sister is real happy. She says baby Joe is just like the dolly she's always wanted, but we could never afford to get her. Truth is, we can't really afford Joe neither. I keep writing to Mickey, asking him to please tell me straight out where the gold is, but he never writes back. I'll just have to keep digging. Leavenworth Prison, Leavenworth, 48, Kansas. September 9th, 1935. Now I spend all my free time digging in the woods. I dig around everything that could be a landmark. Logs, rocks, tree stumps, but I never find nothing. Plus, I keep getting lost. The paths look so much alike, especially at night, that I spend most of my time trying to figure out where I am. So last Sunday, I memorized the way to the cemetery. And he has helpfully written down left, right, right, left, etc. Okay, February 11th, 1939. Even though Mickey never allowed the dogs in the speakeasy or the tunnels, I've been looking there for the gold because I looked everywhere else I can think of and got nowhere. Last week I found out that Mickey changed the passcode to the spigots in the speakeasy. This got my hopes up because, the way I figured it, why would Mickey change the code without telling me unless he was hiding something? But when I finally figured out the new code, I didn't find nothing in the tunnel that opened up that wasn't there before. Why Mickey spent all that money on pictures of those dogs of his, I'll never understand. March 2nd, 1942. I give up. Mickey's dead, and so are all his dogs. I'll never find the gold. I got a good job offer over in Harrisburg, and I'm going to take it. Little Joe and Sarah deserve a better life than they've gotten so far, and it's high time Callie got a nice house and a husband who doesn't spend all his time chasing after something he can't find. But I'm leaving this journal here because who knows, maybe someday I'll suddenly remember something Mickey said, and it'll finally hit me where he hid the gold. Maybe I'll come back here and find it after all, but in the meantime I got my family. They're what's important. They're treasure enough. That's sweet.
The dogs will lead the way. I wonder what that means.
Okay, so this is the map he was talking about, and he marked this square with an eye for Iggy. So, this journal tells us a lot. 1, Jeff Akers is probably related to William Akers, despite what he told us. William Akers tried to find the gold that Mickey Malone hid. And now we can... Why don't we call our friends to tell them about this?
Hello?
Hi, Frank.
Hey, Nancy. Hey, Joe. Pick up the phone. Joe's in the kitchen. Worked up a real appetite watching me vacuum out the car. Hello?
Hi, Joe. It's Nancy. What are you eating?
Sandwich. Either roast beef or really old turkey. Can't tell. Don't care. So how's life as a dog catcher?
I'm pretty sure I know why somebody wants Sally out of the Malone house.
So come on, spill.
Apparently, Malone stole a small fortune in gold bars off a train and hid them somewhere on his property here. They've never been found.
How do you know?
One of his employees, a guy named William Akers, kept a journal, which I found and of course read.
Of course. Wait a sec. Did you say William Akers?
I did, but according to our friendly park ranger, Jeff Akers, he's no relation. the fact that they have the same last name is just a big, unfortunate coincidence.
Yeah, right.
According to his journal, William Akers spent months following each dog around, hoping one of them would lead him to the gold. None ever did.
So they didn't go running off into the woods, never to be seen again after all.
Apparently, they stayed around Malone's house for years. William Akers went to the house every day and fed them until they all finally died.
But according to their tombstones, they all died on the same day.
Those inscriptions were Malone's idea. Akers was just following instructions.
And in all that time, William Akers never found any trace of the gold?
He made one mark on the map I found, a capital I on the porch of the house.
Any idea why?
He discovered that one of Malone's dogs slept on the porch all day, so Akers dug all around underneath it looking for the gold, but never found anything.
Let me guess, he marked the spot with an I because the dog's name was Ike.
Iggy.
Maybe the location of the gold doesn't involve just one dog, but all four in combination somehow.
The whole idea of relating dogs to a map is crazy. They're animals. They move around.
But they're also creatures of habit.
Maybe that's the key. Maybe I just need to know their habits.
Well, that could be a little difficult considering those dogs have been dead for more than half a century.
So if you guys were 600 pounds of gold bullion, where would you be?
Maybe Malone hid it in the speakeasy.
Maybe. The longer I stay in this house, the more it seems like nothing's impossible.
Keep the faith, Nancy. If that gold hasn't been found yet, all it means is that nobody as smart as you has looked for it yet.
Later, guys.
See ya!